everybody has a chance. And in some situations, it's just a question of covering the coffin with earth. That's kind of like my minimum standard, to make sure that a whole box is covered, right? And then you're yotze, as it were. Hannah?
Why don't you encourage people to actually bury
To do the entire burial?
Physically. Let Shulman answer.
So for me, that's one of the things I discuss with him when I have the meeting. I've had multiple times when people have said we don't want to put dirt on the grave. I've never had a time when I haven't been able to convince them that this is really something that they do want to do. I've also had times when they wanted to fill in the entire grave, and by the time we finish the conversation, we've come to a decision as to what that family really wants to do. So I encourage you to discuss it with them ahead of time so that you know, and then let the funeral director know what it is that you're going to be doing.
I think there's also limits to the capacities of the people that can be more limited than their best intentions. You have 15 old ladies and
Exactly.
some of their grandchildren, and the ground is all rock. They can't barely get the shovels in. You see them heroically trying. You understand.
And it's Florida, and it's 98 degrees with 90% humidity,
People are dressed nice.
and they're all dressed nice, and they're elderly, and, all of those things come into the consideration of what you do.
So, as I said, yes, my personal standard is cover the box, and then whatever else happens is fine. Okay, that's done. The funeral director will say, friends, let's form two lines, and to accompany the mourners out. So the crowd will form two lines going back towards the cars, and the funeral director will bring the immediate mourners into that line, and you can lead. The traditional line is Hamakom Yenachem Etchem B'Toch Sha'ar Avelei Tzion B'Yerushalayim. And you can translate that also.
I don't understand. Where do these two lines form? Around the grave?
No. Leaving it's like from the grave site back to the cars. Okay, back out of the cemetery.
Cemeteries I'm used to, you couldn't possibly do that.
Well, if you can find a way to do that, the tradition is for people to form a little corridor as a comforting vessel for the mourners who are leaving the grave. Depending on how your cemetery is structured, if they try to, the essence of the idea is to have something like that happen. Okay.
It takes a certain amount of effort on your part to make that happen if there is space for it. Some people are familiar with that tradition, others aren't. They're all clumped around. They're in knots of conversation and grief, and you're like a dance instructor trying to get people to line up. They don't know what that means. So to the extent that you can, you gracefully help tease the conversation groups apart and help them create that line.
Okay, a couple more quickies. We've got to move forward. Daniel.
When we were talking about weddings, a lot of our instruction was take control of, or take, be the organizer of the entire ritual experience. And here, a lot of the instruction is the funeral director will take this part, and the funeral director will take that
That's
part.
correct.
Can you just flesh that out a little bit? Why or what?
Because they are your partners and they are the professionals. You are in a partnership with the funeral directors. That's why it's really important to know them, to be on a first name basis with them, for them to understand your particular needs and preferences, so that you and they are working together as a team. Different rabbis and chazanim who are doing funerals from different backgrounds will have different styles. The funeral directors really are trying to learn as quickly as they can what it is that you want. But at the same time, they are working on an efficiency model, even if it has compassion at its core. They are in the funeral business. And they have a timetable. They want things to happen in a certain sequence, efficiently. They do this over and over and over. So their needs and your needs can be in conflict.
And these guys, it's a system. They're running a system, and they have it set up so that, especially if it's a big town with a lot of clergy, so that to make room for what the different clergy's styles are. If it's a small city and you have a regular relationship with your funeral director, that's a little more personal and intimate. But these guys are and women are they're friendly and they're efficient and they don't smile much and they know their job and they know how long it takes to get from the funeral home to whatever cemetery is in the region. They got it mapped out, and you go with their system, and at the same time you control how you want things to happen. Graveside service.